Ever pinch pennies all year for that one family vacation only to feel the budget blues afterwards? If so, I was just like you. After 3 vacationless years, I stumbled on credit card rewards travel and cracked the code to amazing vacations that I could actually afford.
Welcome to Wonderland on Points. In this podcast, you will discover how opening credit cards strategically can save you thousands on travel. We're not just dreamers anymore. We're two adventurous moms turning dreams into reality. Join us as we spill all the points and miles secrets.
And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to spend $1 million to earn 1,000,000 points. Traveling on credit card points isn't reserved for those with overflowing bank accounts. It's for everyday people like you and me, learning to turn routine expenses into free travel.
Consider us your points travel guides. This is Wonderland on Points. Let the adventure begin. Welcome back to Wonderland on Points, everybody. We are having so much fun over here today because off camera, we've already been chatting with our friend Jenna from Travelers in Law on Instagram. If you are a longtime listener of the pod, you may remember her. She has been on the pod before. This is her second time with us. And today it's so cool because she is sharing with us about an absolute dream trip for her. I mean, truly like a bucket list dream trip. And if you have any interest in number one racing, Formula One, or Milan and going to Italy, then this episode is for you because we're going to get well beyond the racing, just into planning an incredible trip to Italy or for whatever dream destination or event you want to attend. This will all be applicable to you. So we are super excited to have you back, Jenna.
I'm so excited to be here. And I mean, you know me, I can talk Formula One for 17 hours. So
You and Mary Ellen's child both.
you know what? This is why we're friends.
It's so true. My little boy, I think I've mentioned it on the pod, although it's been a long time probably, is very into racing. He loves NASCAR racing. He loves Formula One racing. He loves all the racing. So Jenna and we chatted briefly on Instagram this summer because the F1 movie came out with Brad Pitt. It is a fantastic movie. If anybody has not seen it and you love any kind of, even if you're not a big sports fan or you don't care about racing, if you love one of those feel-good movies, you know, sports movies they get you all excited and into it, and they're just glorious. They're the best movies. I love sports movies, and F1 movie is so well done. Didn't you love it, Jenna? As an F1 fan, did you love it?
I actually did. Plus, I mean, pitch for all the women out there, the drivers are really attractive and they're all in the movie. So
Yes, they are. That is factual.
Really makes it an easier view. I thought it was a very interesting thing because I loved the movie in and of itself. As someone who really knows the sport, there were moments where I was like, I mean, that really would have been like a 5-second time penalty, not a drive-through penalty. Or like, that's not really legal.
All the details.
FIA would have gotten involved. But just knowing like how much fun it was, and it felt like being at a race because they actually used real race footage. And fun fact, I'm in the movie.
What? No, I did not know this.
Kind of. So the opening, this is not a spoiler for anybody, the opening race that they show is Silverstone in 2023, which is the first race we ever went to. And they're walking around the paddock. I'm in Paddock Club.
Incredible.
And so we watched them film the very first weekend. And so technically I'm somewhere in the background of 10,000 people, but I still claim I'm in the movie. And I have pictures and videos of them. Like I've been by the garage that they used. I've been right next to the car. If I'd reached out and touched it, I would have been able to touch it. I've got tons of photos of them filming. So it's another reason to love it.
That's amazing. So what you're telling me is someday when it comes out to video, you're going to get it and pause it and zoom in times like 50 to try to pick you guys out of 10,000 people.
Yeah, probably.
Amazing. So. I have to be honest, if I was going to get into a sport, I could probably see myself getting into this above many other things. I don't know what it is. It just has this air about it that sounds very thrilling and better for me with my like short bursts of attention than like watching like people run around a field with a ball. I don't know. But Let's talk a little bit about how this whole thing came to be. We talk all the time on this podcast about when you are planning and earning your points, try to have a specific goal in mind. And you had a goal. Like you knew that you wanted to do this Formula One race entirely on points. And I absolutely love that you made it happen. You did it. You fulfilled this dream thanks to Points and Miles. That is so cool. But before we even get into the race, it's not like this was just anywhere. This was in Milan. So how incredible was Milan itself?
So we only, unfortunately, because we had the race, which is a whole weekend, and then we had a wedding the following weekend back in New York, we were only in Milan itself for about 4 days. But I mean, those 4 days were so much fun. Just the architecture is incredible. The drinks are incredible. I mean, I think I drank my weight in Aperol spritz. The people were super nice. You can walk everywhere. I'm a huge dog lover, and there were golden retrievers everywhere.
Heaven.
So Milan,
now you're speaking Joe's language.
That is me.
Yeah, Milan might be my favorite city in the world just for the golden retriever to person ratio.
I love that so much.
It was heaven. And Milan's a really good jumping off point too to go to. We did like a day in Lake Como. So it's very easy to go and do day trips. So am I going to go back to Milan? Probably not, because I do feel like I saw a lot of it in 4 days and there's so much more in Italy I want to see. But I'm so glad we took those extra days to stay there.
Absolutely. I actually, like, Milan sounds like a place that a lot of people I know go there. A lot of the people I've worked for have gone to Milan, and these are people who are very big into fashion and fashion shows and all of that kind of stuff.
So I did buy a designer purse.
Okay, see. But when I think about Italy, I kind of don't think of Milan on my list of places to go. Sure, it sounds incredible, but when I'm listing all the places in Italy I'd like to see, it doesn't even make the list. But you maybe can advocate for at least starting there, because I've seen a lot of great flights to Milan. So maybe you could tell people why it's a great starting point, and also how you got there, because I think you flew some pretty incredible business class.
I'm actually like you, Joe. I did not have Milan on my I want to visit this in Italy. The only reason we went to Milan is because that's where you have to go to Monza.
Right.
So if we hadn't been going to Monza, we would probably not have gone to Milan at all. And if you found great flights, I'm like, I wish I'd reached out to you guys. I had a really hard time finding good redemptions from LA to Milan. So the way we did it was actually LA to Paris, Paris to Madrid. Spent overnight in Madrid, and then the next day went Madrid to Milan.
Okay.
In order to get like a better deal.
Yeah.
So if you guys can find good flights into Milan, someone next time.
Not from LAX, probably. I think all the deals that I've seen have probably been East Coast. So
yeah, and that's something that's really tough. I've found with Europe, especially, it's not the easiest to find decent redemptions going from the West Coast to Europe.
Yeah, it is tough.
So what redemption did you go with? So after looking into that, at least you can break it up too, because I know it's not the same airline all the way through. Yeah. So you went LA to Paris. So what was that first leg, and which points currency did you use to pay for it?
So our first one there was a LA to Madrid flight with a layover in Paris.
Okay.
And we did Air France, and everything we did was business class. When I decided I wanted to do this trip, I'm like, we're going bougie the whole way. So everything was business class. So we did Air France, and we transferred our Capital One points at that one. I think there was a 20% transfer bonus at the time.
Great.
To Flying Blue. So we used that to get from LA to Madrid. And then we eventually, probably almost a year later, booked Madrid to Milan.
Wow.
On Iberia.
Do you remember the actual cost, the points price for your business class ticket from LAX to Madrid?
Of course I do. It's on my spreadsheet.
That's what I thought.
The LA to Madrid flights were total, so combined with both of us, was 98,500 points.
That's great. That's a long way.
A really long way. For less than 50,000 a person? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was a mistake fare for a while. I do think it was a benefit of having booked a year ahead of time. So we did it. I had looked up online what day the Air France calendar opened, and I was online that morning, and I knew exactly what dates I needed. So I went a little crazy.
Yeah, that's how I did it too. I flew Air France business class when my husband and I went to Switzerland. And for that one, I really timed it. So I knew when the calendar was going to open, booked it right away. That is a great idea for getting a good price on business class. Or the opposite end of that, you have to be able to wait till almost the last minute. So Joanna and I just bought business class tickets through Air France, but this is not a trip that like you had that was a specific event in mind where we had, a certain day we needed to be there. And so last minute within only about 2 months away, even close to 2 months away, we bought these tickets and we're able to get a really good price. So I think if you are looking for a trip, you either need to get those business class tickets right when a calendar opens, or be willing to wait or have the flexibility to get it within the last 2 months before your trip, like right at the end, when you're starting to sweat a little bit because you want to go on a trip. But I don't think I could ever do that. I don't think I could book hotels, have dates in mind. It works for a spur of the moment thing, but I don't know that I could live like that otherwise, certainly not with the children.
Yeah, scary.
On this trip, I didn't have a choice because it was so many different moving parts. And when I say I didn't have a choice, I mean, we did both. So I booked a lot of our stuff a year out, but our last puzzle piece, which was the Madrid to Milan flight, I booked a month ahead of time.
Oh my God.
And I have the amount of anxiety that caused. We transferred our Amex points when there was a 30% bonus to Iberia specifically. So we were able to get it for 29,000 points and $66 in fees, and the equivalent purchase price was about $1,300.
That's
so
for both of you?
For both of us. So 4.4 cents per point.
That's great. That is fantastic.
You did such a good job on this trip of capitalizing on transfer bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
I think for almost all of because I looked through your Instagram, I researched a bit for this. So I know what you paid for a lot of these things already because you shared it online. So everybody go check out the Instagram later if you want to take notes from this. But you got a transfer bonus almost every time you transferred your points to buy a flight, which is incredible.
Yeah, I got very lucky, but it also took some faith in the process, knowing that I could pull it off. I mean, I've learned so much from you guys. I've learned so much from other podcasters, and sitting there in the discomfort and waiting to see, because I had a feeling that Amex was going to have a transfer bonus to something within the Avios family, sitting there and waiting for months for one to pop up so that I could book that flight was a experience.
Yeah, it's a test. Yes, I love this. Okay, and then before we dig into the specifics, let's just talk coming back. So we've got all of our transportation locked in. So coming back, you use Chase points, which, we talk a lot on this podcast about reserving those for Hyatt, but talk to us a little bit about how you got back. It was a business class redemption as well. So where'd you transfer them? How much was it? Where did you fly? All the things.
Because we had a wedding in New York the following weekend from the race, we did kind of a weird triangle. So the overarching trip was LA to Milan, Milan to New York, New York to LA. So to get from Milan to New York, we did the Fifth Freedom Emirates flight. I will admit that we all learned this is a growing experience. At the time I did this, I was probably, I think, 6 months into knowing points and miles. And I didn't really appreciate the value of Chase points transferring to Hyatt.
I see. Yeah.
It hurts now to look at this, where I spent 174,000 Chase points transferring to Emirates, where I could have used Capital One points, where I'm sitting on a cash of almost 1 million Capital One points.
It's okay. It's okay. We all learn, and more points will come down the pipe. And it was a fabulous trip. So you can't beat yourself up over little things like that. It happens to absolutely all of us in this hobby.
Amen.
And this is a safe space.
This is a safe space. Emirates business class was amazing, right?
Yes. And I was so grateful to get to do it this time. So when we did our Bali trip last year, which was my last vacation booking pre-points, we did business class on Emirates from LA to, again, a very roundabout way to get to Bali. And I was just coming off of being really sick. So I slept through about 10 of the 17 hours we were on that flight.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I never went to the bar. I don't remember most of it. So getting to then do it again from Milan to JFK. I forced myself to stay awake almost the entire flight. I'm like, I am experiencing this business class.
And was that a daytime flight?
Yeah, I think it left at like 3 p.m. We landed at about 8 p.m. in New York. So yeah, it was a daytime flight, and I took full advantage of all of the business class amenities that time.
Love that. You also flew. I am very curious about this. Your last leg of your flight, I think it was the last leg, was JetBlue. Was that the
Yeah.
JetBlue Mint product? We're seeing a lot about JetBlue stepping up their game. They have this business class Mint product. Is that what you flew, or is it more of a traditional business class?
It was supposed to be.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
What happened?
So the morning of, so we had booked it with, one of the reasons I chose JetBlue is I wanted to check the Mint experience off my list. The morning of, I got an email saying that I think it was the Wi-Fi or something wasn't working on our plane. So they were switching the planes.
No.
And they said, check your tickets for seat changes. And so I was like, all right, fine. I checked and it still showed 3A, 3F. I was like, great, cool. Our seats didn't change. It did not tell me that the seat configuration changed.
Oh.
That it was then the 21212 business class. 3A was and 3F became window seats. And the two people on the aisle seats that got stuck in between us, neither of them agreed to move. I am a very clingy person with my husband, and to suffer through a 5.5-hour flight with him not sitting next to me was really annoying.
Yeah, no, I would have been very sad.
Yeah. Were you able to reach out to JetBlue at all about that, their customer service, get any points back? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big deal to change the aircraft at a last minute to a lower product.
We actually had another issue on our Air France flight too. Our Air France flight didn't have Wi-Fi either, which was a big problem because I needed to work. And both of our entertainment systems were glitching the whole flight.
No.
So I reached out to Air France and explained, this is what happened. These were all the issues we had. Also, the staff was not the nicest. Our call buttons weren't working. So when I needed to get water or something, I couldn't get anything. Reached out to them, asked for any kind of compensation or reimbursement. JetBlue did the same thing, reached out and was like, there was no Wi-Fi. You then switched our airline. You didn't tell us that it was a different configuration. I got separated from my husband and you downgraded us because as much as we're still business class, Mint is a different product and you're paying a premium in points for that.
For sure.
Air France was lovely and gave us 5,000 points back each. JetBlue said no.
Wow. Disappointing.
Negative on the customer service. Yeah, I was really disappointed. I've always had good experiences before I did points and miles with JetBlue's customer service. And so I was really disappointed. And then I was shocked that Air France, given we had relatively rude cabin people, were super nice and accommodating when it got time for addressing an issue.
Bizarre. I just feel like there's no way Mint costs the same as regular business class. So you should at least have been compensated like the difference.
Yeah, they claimed that we weren't paying anything additional for Mint. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm going to call bananas on that.
Mm-hmm. Sad.
So one day I'll fly Mint, maybe, if I ever get over my grudge for this flight.
Yeah, if you ever actually agree to fly on them again.
Yeah, exactly. So the JetBlue flight, probably it was actually our most expensive points flight. So it ended up being 198,000 points for a $3,300 flight. Oh, and just to clarify, all the numbers I give are combined. It's both of us. I don't break them down by person. So it's for two of us, it was 198,000 points.
That's crazy that it costs more to get across the country than to get home from Europe.
Yeah, it was bonkers.
Okay, so you did use Chase points for JetBlue, but this time you've shared with us that it wasn't just because you were new to the game. There's actually a reason. So tell everybody what that reason was.
One of the things that I have learned is that even if multiple cards and multiple currencies will transfer to the same flight program, they don't actually transfer at the same ratio. So the two options I would have had to transfer to JetBlue would have been Capital One or Chase, and Capital One transferred at a 0.6. So for every one Capital One point I would transfer, I only would have gotten 0.6 JetBlue points, whereas Chase was still a 1-to-1. I cared more, especially given the cost of these flights. I didn't want to spend additional points in order to transfer all of my Capital One. So I did, unfortunately, bite the big one and do Chase on that, which hurts a little, but it's that, or I would have had to probably be closer to like 300,000 points for the two of us instead of 198,000. And I was not willing to make that change. So that's something that I've learned is always check which currency when you're transferring, what the actual ratio is, because it can make or break a redemption.
Absolutely. I think people a lot of times just assume everything's 1-to-1. Like that's not something that comes into the minds of beginners a lot as transfer ratio. I was recently looking into the Accor hotel program because we don't talk about those a lot. And there was someone was asking me a question about one of them. And when I was looking at the transfer ratios from like everybody, I was like, wow, these are terrible. Nobody transfers 1-to-1 to Accor. So definitely something to keep your eyes on. Speaking of hotels, let's transition a little bit because we want to hear about where you stayed. So let's start with the Thompson in Madrid.
I did transfer my points to Hyatt. I did the right thing.
Woohoo!
So the one for the Madrid, because we were only going to go overnight. So I wanted to stay somewhere that was in the heart of Madrid so we could get a quick experience of being in the city. And the Thompson Madrid was a category 5, I believe. And it was such a beautiful hotel. I wish I could have been there longer. It was probably one of my favorite hotels I've ever stayed at. It was super easy access to, well, in Europe. Let me clarify, in Europe. Because overwater bungalow in the Maldives, and you can't really compare the Thompson Madrid to that. So it was right in the heart of the city. We were able to go to the palace, the gardens, walk to some amazing tapas restaurants. The staff was amazing. They got us a cab in the morning straight to the airport. And the room was comfortable. The bathroom was huge. It was just a very beautiful place to get to spend the night. So we got to spend only 25,000 points on a hotel that would have cost us $650 for one night.
Amazing.
Okay, how about the Hyatt Centric in Milan? So you stayed the one night in Madrid while you were working your way to Milan. The Hyatt Centric you stayed at for several nights. So how did you end up liking that hotel, and what did the price run you?
I really liked that hotel also. It was really close to the central train station in Milan, so it made it easy when we wanted to do our day trip to Como. It made it easy to get a taxi anywhere we wanted. There's 2 ways to look at that redemption in terms of value, because that was the hotel that F1 Experiences was putting their people up at. We book our tickets for the race through F1 Experiences. You can also book a hotel package, which is Thursday night through Sunday for the hotel. So the 2 redemption values are, first, what is the cost that I would have had to pay to go through Formula One, and then what was the cost I would have had to pay cash versus what I paid in points. And the numbers are insanely different to make this one of the best redemptions I could have possibly gotten. I got a week in Milan for 161,000 points, 0 taxes and fees. The cash value for that, if I had paid for that whole week, would have been $4,758.
Wow.
Now here's the crazy one. If I had booked it with Formula One just for half of that time, it would have been $6,000 for the 2 of us.
That is insane. Why don't they give people a deal? You would think if you're booking with the experience, it's like a group rate, it would be some kind of good deal.
No, it was an additional $3,000 per ticket, and it only covers like a weekend. So I feel like I made out like a bandit.
Is it like a suite, or like how are people justifying not just booking directly? Or is this just people that are like, just do it for me, take care of it. I don't want to do the Googling. I don't want to look for a hotel.
When we did it, so we did it with Silverstone. When we did the race 2 years ago, we did book our hotel through Formula One, and it does include your transportation. So they will have buses that take you to and from, which getting to and from a Formula One race is a nightmare.
Okay. Is it worth $3,000 though?
No, absolutely not. But I can see if you've never done the race, or if you don't care about money, which I'm very much not that kind of a person, I can see it feeling worth it of just have somebody take care of it.
Sure.
We learned our mistake doing it with the Silverstone race. We were not going to do it again. And we ended up paying probably $300 round trip in our transportation each day to and from the race. That doesn't make up for the $3,000 each. So. I don't know why they rack up the price so much. You don't get extra benefits. I think it's just.
And you don't get your Hyatt nights.
Well, I don't know if I got mine anyway because I booked them on points.
You do?
Oh, you still do? Yeah.
I love that I learn new things every time. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got my Hyatt qualifying nights.
You absolutely do booking on points still.
Sweet.
Yeah. And you probably
All
got
right.
some Brand Explorer credit if you've never stayed at a Centric before too. Have you ever checked your
I'm gonna
Hyatt
look
bingo?
at your Hyatt bingo.
I have not been like that deep diving yet. It's been a very crazy year with trials, so it's been harder to deep dive.
This is exciting. Everybody, let's talk about this
Please
because
talk about this.
on this trip, you stayed at a Thompson, you
Mhm.
stayed at a Hyatt Centric. That is two different brands that fall
And a
into the Hyatt
Regency.
family. And you stayed at a Hyatt Regency. That's 3. I am here to tell you, if you look in your Hyatt app,
I'm trying to find it
there
right
is a
now.
spot where you can find, we call it Hyatt Bingo. It's the Brand Explorer. If you have stayed at 5 different types of Hyatt, you earned a free night. A free night for this. And you can get bingo more than once as you stay at different Hyatt brands. It is the most fun little side game that Hyatt has. I wish all the other hotel chains also have this. So look in the account section of your app, everybody, if you have been staying at Hyatt's and didn't even realize this existed, and see your Brand Explorer.
It's all the way at the bottom. It says Brand Explorer. It has little bubbles that it will fill out, and it will check mark the brands that you stayed at out of the list of all of the Hyatt brands. And once you've stayed at 5, you earn a free category 1 through 4 night. Yeah, we have to know.
Look it up right now, Jenna. We need to know.
I'm gonna try.
The people need to know.
I actually don't have the app downloaded.
Shut the front door. Hyatt app is like my social media. I don't scroll Instagram. I just scroll the Hyatt app.
Okay, I'm a millennial, and in my brain, trips have to be booked on a computer. They can't be booked on a phone.
Okay, this is funny because I'm about to be 35 and I should maybe book things on the computer. I do everything on my phone, but in my defense, my computer is 900 years old. It's not reliable. I can't wait to find out. You do have to let us know though.
Yeah, no, I will DM you after.
Okay, we will get right back to the show, but first I have to do a little ad for you guys because you guys know we do all of this work on the podcast for free, and ads make it so that we don't have to charge you guys for any of the content ever, and we would like to keep it that way. We want to be giving you all this information free so you can learn how to travel the world. If you have been listening for a while, or you have been on Mary Ellen or my Instagram pages lately, you have probably seen us talk about comfort hoodies because we are legitimately obsessed. Mary Ellen and I both just did massive Christmas orders for our friends and family, and we reviewed them over on our Instagrams. I will put the YouTube review for the Travel Essentials hoodie in the show notes so that you can go watch it yourself right now. We don't just love this brand because we partner with them. You guys know that we don't do ads for anything unless we are legitimately obsessed with it. And Comfort is, I think, our favorite partnership because these hoodies, I cannot describe to you how amazing they are. They have the perfect pockets, the stitching holds up, the material is buttery soft. They are so cozy and so amazing. And actually, they don't just have hoodies. They have sweatpants, they have loungewear, they have blankets, they have the cutest Christmas pajama sets that they have just launched. And right now, they are running their early Black Friday sale, which means up to 70% off of everything on their site. And our code actually stacks on top of the already amazing sales. So if you guys want to take 15% off of already incredible sale prices and get amazing Christmas presents for your entire family, make sure you jump over there quickly because things are going out of stock so fast. I've had to pivot and make a lot of different decisions, but I'm actually really pleased with everything that I've received. So use the link in our show notes and stock up, and it will give you 15% off of the sale price, and it helps support the show. Thank you for sticking around through this whole ad and not skipping it. I love you guys so much, and now we will get back to the episode.
Okay, so I know on Instagram you said you were so excited because you did this whole thing on points, the flights, the hotel, with the actual race tickets. Because a lot of people go to concerts, they travel for concerts, they travel for sporting events. Did you find any way to cover that with points, or was it did you find a way to make a good multiplier happen so that it was a good points earning opportunity? Any advice you have surrounding how you bought the actual Formula One tickets?
We used it to get a new sign-up bonus
Okay.
on a card that had a very, very high minimum. And also we did a 2x. So we made sure that we were getting 2 points per dollar, and then on top of that earning a sign-up bonus, because I don't know any way you could have canceled those out. It also would have taken, I think it would have taken 1 million points each to wipe it out on any kind of travel eraser. These were not cheap tickets.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So I'll spend my Christmas bonus on these tickets, but I'm not going to spend 1 million Capital One points each to erase this.
Not worth it. Okay.
But we did get our sign-up bonus, so that helps.
That is huge. I mean, that's huge. And it's one of those things where, like, those are the moments in life where you actually can go for some of those higher sign-up bonus cards, like that your regular monthly expenses do not cover, but maybe you have a Christmas bonus that could pay that card off if you happen to be able to buy these crazy expensive tickets.
Yeah, Formula One, my son would love to go to a Formula One race. He truly, and I know at some point we'll find a way to do it, but we are very middle class. We're not wealthy. And I know Formula One, there's big money in Formula One. It is definitely a sport. It's a little wealthier than NASCAR. He likes the NASCAR. That we can afford NASCAR. We cannot afford Formula One.
So I do want to clarify that the way we did Formula One is absolutely insane. We did the hospitality suite. We did Paddock Club. I got to meet drivers. We did the full top of the line experience you could possibly get. Part of that is because our entire travel budget for the year, we smushed into just the ticket prices because everything else I got on points.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to think that that's how you have to do Formula One. There are general admission tickets for a day that can cost $100 to $200 per person. That's it. And it's almost sometimes a better experience because you're around so many more fans. Whereas you get to be in all your Ferrari gear. If you're in Italy, only wear Ferrari gear for your own safety. You get to, seriously, everybody was in red. So you get to be around the everyday fans a lot more, and that actually can be a really positive experience, and it can be really, really affordable. The way we did it was annoyingly bougie, and also we couldn't wear team gear. We were actually instructed to, quote, dress the part, because at any given point we could be on camera. My husband got on camera a couple times. They were doing post-qualifying interviews, and he just kept walking in the background,
pacing back and forth, trying to
with
smile.
a purple jacket. So I don't want people thinking it's out of the realm of possibility to do Formula One if you don't have an insane travel budget for that year. We got really fortunate we could afford it this year. We can't afford it every year.
There's hope. There's hope for my son. I'll tell him not to give up the dream yet. I have seen some Formula One things on Amex offers. I don't know if you've seen that too. I don't know if it's just for gear, but I've seen it say Formula One, and I didn't really look into it further, but I did notice it because my son enjoys it so much. So, okay, there's hope for us. There is hope.
It looks bougie, but you can do it for a budget, I promise.
Honestly, thank you so much for sharing that, because I think our audience is really going to appreciate that and to want to know that, because obviously the average person would, struggle to drop thousands of dollars on an event. That's most people's, as you said, travel budget for the whole year. But $100, $200, we can make that happen. Flights are free. Hotels are free. I feel like that it's possible. So I love this.
Yeah.
So give us just one or two of your favorite moments, like those moments where are like the pinch me moments. I'm here. I've been planning this forever. I made it happen. I can't believe this is real. It's all the things I dreamed of.
Oh, let me try to think, because there's so many. It's like I can't. Like the whole race weekend was a pinch me moment.
I love that. I love, because so often when we have a really big bucket list trip, I think there's so much pressure on it that sometimes we can be a little bit disappointed. I mean, the buildup was almost more fun than whatever trip it actually is, because, maybe something doesn't meet our expectations. So it's wonderful to hear that this is something you dreamed of. You really went for it, and it ended up being just what you hoped it would be.
It was better than I could have hoped would have been. I can't imagine not having this as my life experience now. It's just so amazing. There is one specific pinch me moment that Joe will appreciate.
Okay, I'm ready.
So one of the drivers, Charles Leclerc, he's for Ferrari, has a long-haired, wiener dog named Leo. And Leo comes to the paddock. He gets brought around. When they were in Austin a few weeks ago, he had a little cowboy hat. I got to meet Leo.
Oh my gosh. I would pay
lost it.
to meet a long-haired wiener dog. I used to have a Chiweenie, guys, and it was a long-haired wiener chihuahua. Okay? If you can picture the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life, that is it. So yes, I do appreciate that. That is a sweet pinch me moment. Does Leo have his own Instagram?
He probably
I think
does.
He does. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll have to look him up.
He's so cute. Yeah. My goal was to meet Hamilton's dog, but Hamilton's dog was not there, and unfortunately he has since passed. But I got to meet Leo, and Leo is so freaking cute.
Okay. Well, that is a sweet moment. Maybe you should tell us a little bit about Milan. We're kind of running out of time here, so I don't think we dug into it quite as much as we wanted, but give people a few highlights that they would want to see if they were there for a few days.
Okay. Absolutely go to the Duomo. It's the big cathedral, and this was a points earning opportunity because we actually we did a semi-private tour, so there was about 20 people in our group. I've been a lot of places in Europe, and this was probably one of the most spectacular churches I have ever seen.
Wow.
And
I love an old church. I know you do too, Joe.
They're amazing. And this is probably one of the coolest because you get to walk on the roof.
That's amazing.
Yeah, super cool. And we did it, so we have to have those kinds of tickets. So we booked a semi-private tour. Again, there was 20 of us through Viator, clicking through Rakuten.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And using a 2X card. So I got 2X of my Capital One points. I got the extra Amex points from Rakuten because there was, I think, a 15X on Viator that week. So I wish we had done that earlier in our trip. We didn't do the Duomo until I think the day before we left Milan, just because of when the tickets were available. But going to that changed our perspective on the entire city. We learned so much more history, and I'm a history buff. Yeah. That's my favorite part of being in a European city is the history. We also got to go see, if anybody is a Broadway fan of Phantom of the Opera.
It's one of my favorites.
Okay, we didn't see Phantom of the Opera there, but there is a theater there called La Scala, and it is... We got to sit in one of the boxes that are around the side, and I felt like I was in the Phantom of the Opera theater, to where I saw an empty box and I pointed at it and said, "That's box 5. It's left empty for the Phantom."
Such a nerd.
It was just so cool
this.
to get again, I am a huge, gigantic nerd.
Massive.
But getting to that was a bucket list. I didn't even know it was on my bucket list until we were there, and I was like, I needed my whole life to be in a box in an opera theater, listening to incredible music. So that was another really amazing experience. And just the city itself, it's one thing I'd warn people is dinner in Italy is 10 p.m.
Okay. I have heard this.
It's 9, 10. It's very late.
That's hard for me.
It's hard for me too.
That's a tough one for me. I am at the elderly 4:00 special. So that on East Coast time. So that's tricky for me.
It was tricky. It helped coming back from the race because we wouldn't get back to Milan until around 8 or 9 o'clock. So then we could also just go to dinner after, which made it easier. But it was sometimes I was like, I'm just hungry now. Mm-hmm. This is something I learned in Italy, which I think every bar should start here. They have a thing I think it's all of Italy, but definitely in Milan, where they won't serve you a drink without a snack.
No.
They think that wine and food and cocktails and food pair together. So we would just, if we got hungry, we'd just go to a cocktail bar and they'd bring you up chips, or one woman brought us out a sandwich.
Included. You don't pay for the snacks. They just extra. Bring them with your drinks.
They bring your snacks with the drinks.
Is the food in Milan pretty expensive?
Depends on where you go. we found some places that were pretty affordable. We also shared everything so that that's one of the ways we kind of save costs is we split our meals.
Yeah.
It also helped us try more things. So I wouldn't say the food was overly expensive. I'm also coming from Los Angeles where a cup of coffee is $8. But it wasn't like Bali where everything is dirt cheap. But I didn't leave feeling like we got taken for our money. And the tipping, like you don't tip the same way. So that felt really affordable and helped out.
That's good.
For a luxury city, it felt relatively affordable.
Okay. Yeah. Did you guys with Lake Como, I know you said you did a day trip. So first, how many hours was it away? I'm guessing you rode a train. Did you just do that on your own? Like you researched, you bought some train tickets, you went there, or did you do it with a tour that you bought?
I did it all on our own. For anybody listening, I would recommend doing an overnight in Como because from Milan, it's a 40-minute train ride from Milan to Como. Then it's a 2-hour ferry from Como to the center of the lake, and you usually land in Bellagio, not the Vegas hotel, but the little town on the lake. And that's a 2-hour ferry ride, and then you have to also factor in the 2-hour ferry ride back. And that's the only way to get there.
Ouch.
So yeah, I think in total we were only there like in that area of where you're actually looking at the cute towns, probably like 5 or 6 hours. And I wish we'd been there longer. I don't feel like we got to really experience all of it, but I have friends who've done Como and they stay overnight in one of the little towns. So I would definitely recommend doing at least an overnight so you get the mornings and you get the sunsets and you get all the prettiness.
Yeah, that's the hard part when you're only somewhere for a few days in Europe. I think we're kind of struggling a little bit for our trip to Austria coming up. Like we want to do this day trip, but it looks like it's also 13 hours and it's, you're going this way. This is 3 hours away. And then this is 2.5 hours this way. And then you circle back around and it's like, ooh, that's a long day and a very little amount of time. But, when you're crunching it all in and you want to see somewhere, I'm sure you would prefer to have seen it than not seen it at all, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. And Como was like the whole area is it's what you want Italy to be.
Yeah.
It is so cute. The food was amazing. I found it to be more affordable than Milan. It's what we wanted the little lakeside town in Italy to be. So.
Amazing.
Less dogs, though.
Well, that's sad. But honestly, I still think I would take that idyllic Italian town vibe, but maybe even over the dogs, which is a wild thing to come out of my mouth. It's very unlike me.
Como itself. So the main city, Como, had dogs.
Okay.
And I have photos on my Instagram of me on the floor crying over a dog. It was very sweet. His name is Pluto, and I love him.
Pluto! Oh, my goodness. Obsessed.
Sorry, I could talk. Dogs and Formula One are like my thing.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Okay, well, as we're wrapping up here, tell us the overall cash price of this trip because it's wild. And then tell us the points that you used and then all of the out-of-pocket money you spent, including, the taxes and fees and all of those extras.
Sure. So our cash value was $26,928.37.
Oh my gosh.
That does not, and that is just for what we booked with points. I want to clarify that does not include the Formula One tickets because also this is money we didn't pay.
Right.
So that's how much it would have been for us to book everything else if we paid in cash.
Mm-hmm.
The taxes and fees for me is probably like the most astounding number in this whole system. It was only $829.88 in taxes and fees.
For all of those
for the round trip flights.
4 business class flights each.
How?
For less.
That's so good.
I can give you the exact numbers.
Because we combined just spent that same amount of money to go back and forth from Washington, D.C. to Vienna. And only one of those is business class. So that's extraordinary.
Yeah. So our LA to Madrid on Air France, the taxes and fees, that was our highest, was $495. And again, these are totals for the two of us. Then Milan to JFK was $256 in taxes and fees. The Madrid to Milan was $66 taxes and fees. And then the JetBlue flight was $11.20.
These are wild.
And since it's Hyatt, no taxes and fees on Hyatt.
Yeah, yeah. No, incredible.
And guys, just so you know, for planning your own planning purposes, the European airlines are always going to have higher taxes and fees than if you're flying to and from the US on an American airline. American airlines don't pass along some of the fees that the European airlines do. So that's just something to take into consideration, because like when my family is going next summer to Norway, I've booked our flights. I was pretty committed to keeping the taxes and fees as low as possible, which meant I really prioritized being on a US based carrier. So we're flying American both there and back to keep the taxes and fees low, because yes, there were some good transfer bonuses. There were some good options on maybe Air France or other things through Flying Blue, but they are going to have higher taxes and fees. So it just depends on if your goal is a great deal, or if your goal is truly, I need this to be as low out of pocket cost as possible. You know, those are slightly different things sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to keep in mind.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And our total points that we redeemed for that whole $27,000 was 681,000 points.
Woo!
Our cent per point value was about 3.8 cents per point for the entire trip.
That's great.
Which I think is a great redemption value for me personally, given fantastic. The constraints we had, because you do have that issue where the less flexibility you have, the more points you need to pay for things.
Mm-hmm.
So given we had no flexibility, to get that high of a redemption cent per point, I thought was really exciting.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And that brings me to another question as we're closing up. What tips do you have for people who want to plan a similar trip around whatever event or adventure they have in mind? I know you mentioned some tips on your Instagram. One of them was that, of course, flexibility, which sometimes we don't have. If we're families on a school schedule or with our work schedule, sometimes flexibility is not an option. If it is, that is key. But what are a couple other tips that you would have for other people who want to make a really big dream trip like this possible?
Yeah, and definitely the flexibility was huge for us. We didn't have flexibility, so our point cost was a lot higher given we didn't have flexibility for any of this. I really learned on this trip the value of diversifying, because if I had only had Chase points, if I had only had Capital One, if I had only had Amex, I wouldn't have been able to access half of the flights I did access. I wouldn't have been able to get those transfer bonuses. So as difficult as it can be to kind of juggle multiple currencies, if you build it up slowly. So last year, I only had Chase and Capital One. Right before this year, before 2024 ended, I got my first Amex. So I learned the systems and then I built out. That was critical for the way we ended up booking these. And that way you can get the best value, you can get the best deal. You're a lot less tied down to one specific currency.
Absolutely.
So that would be a huge piece of advice I would have for people.
Yeah.
Also, just do it. Like, you only get one life. You need to live it. So if this is something you want, if this is a dream of yours, where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, absolutely.
If anybody has questions on how to do something like this, my DMs are always open. Live your life. Do it. You only get one of them.
And these points are just always going down in value. So spend them while you got them.
As I sit on 2 million points.
You can share those with us anytime you want, Jenna.
Yes, Capital One points for everyone out there are the easiest points currency to share. Mm-hmm. So go ahead, Jenna. Send some our way.
My 35th birthday is coming up.
Okay, I'll send you some points for your birthday. So actually, it's why my husband's office, all of their business cards are Capital One. Yeah. So it's easiest to transfer their points amongst the different partners.
Yep, absolutely.
Because that's one of the benefits their firm has is you get points.
Absolutely. But actually, that is something we should say, since this is like very new and we are talking about this on our minis as well. We just did a little teaser, but maybe we should just clarify right now since it's come up. Capital One has changed some of their language about earning venture bonuses. And so everyone was kind of panicking a couple couple days ago because they had put some language in there saying now Venture and Venture X are part of the same family. If you've earned one sign-up bonus, you can't earn the other within 48 months. They have issued a brief little clarification, which is that they're adopting the hierarchy of cards similar to Amex. So you have to start low and work your way up. Like with Amex, you would have to go green, blue, gold, platinum in order to receive sign-up bonuses. So similarly, it sounds like you have to go Venture 1, Venture X. So for my friends who have earned a Venture X within the last 48 months, unfortunately, you can't go back and earn a Venture. But if you have earned a Venture sign-up bonus, it sounds like you still can get a Venture X sign-up bonus within that 48-month period. So since we're talking Capital One, seemed like a good idea to just throw that out there.
And I am hoping personally, because I started with the Venture X, that they will walk this back too, or clarification will come out. This is all breaking news.
Yeah.
Like when we're sharing things with you, it is things that are coming out almost in real time sometimes. So I was thrilled that they walked that back a little bit, but also disappointed when I realized, oh, I only have a Venture X. So you're telling me, can I not go back and get the Venture or any other cards? So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But things are constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to roll with the punches. There's
Amen.
always new opportunities to be had, though.
So is it that you can't get a Venture within 48 months? Or is it like at 48 months, does it reset?
That's what it sounds like, is that now it's not lifetime language, it's 48 months language. But whereas it used to be you can get the Venture and the Venture X, and those cards have their own rules. So you can't get the same bonus again until it's been 48 months. Now they were lumping them in like a family, like sapphires, and being like, oh, you could only get one of these sign-up bonuses in 48 months. So and now they're structuring it with, the lowest at the bottom and the highest at the top. It's like they're adopting a few different things from all over the place, and it's not the things we want them adopting. Boo.
Never. Is it ever the things we want them adopting?
Literally never. Okay, so as we are letting you go, why don't you tell us where you're headed next?
As much as I wish I could say that our next trip was one that the whole thing was going to be on points, we're doing another one of those kinds of trips where we've got a budget for travel that is being used towards one aspect of our trip, and then everything around it will be points and miles. So we are actually going to be doing a cruise on the Danube.
Wow.
And very excited. So the cruise itself is not covered by points, but I'm doing it through AMA Waterways, and I booked it when there was an Amex offer for 5 points per dollar.
Nice.
On that. So I got basically a mini sign-up bonus of like $25,000 or $30,000, 25 or 30,000 points for booking that trip. So
awesome.
I was excited about that. And then we're going to do a couple days in Budapest before, and then a couple days in Prague after. And our flights and then all our hotels in Prague and Budapest are booked on points. I am in the process of booking those. We're still trying to figure out exactly what time of year we can do the cruise, but that's going to be our next big one. And then the plan, we are doing Italy again in 2027 because my husband bid on a Ferrari experience at a charity auction without asking my permission.
Oh, no.
And if he hears this podcast, he needs to know I did not give permission.
I feel like you would grant permission for that, though. That is so up your alley.
I would have eventually, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's the biggest debate of our,
thank you.
Yes.
This is the debate of our relationship in 2025 is did he have permission to bid on this? But
how funny.
He won it. So we're going to be going back to Italy in 2027, doing the Ferrari experience thing there, and then actually experiencing the places in Italy we really, really wanted to go.
Neat.
So that is the next two big trips on our horizon. And then we have our little conferences that we always have to go to. I think we're also doing a trip. We're going to try to do a trip to Mexico at the end of this year for our anniversary. We're just kind of fitting in little
weekend something.
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that Amex offer because that sneaks in a little cruise trip. There's not a lot of great ways to do cruises on points and miles, but Amex often I have seen offers for cruise lines.
Yep.
So maybe it's a little cash back off of your cruise, or maybe it's a multiplier offer like you got with 5 times the points. You take what you can get with cruises because they're a great affordable way to travel and go on adventures. But with points and miles, there's not as many opportunities. So that was a really good one.
And I found that Amex offer by like a complete fluke, and just very grateful that I was able to find it.
Was it because of card pointers?
I did not know about card pointers yet. Your podcast episode hadn't come out on card pointers yet, and that was what introduced me to card pointers. I used your link to sign up for card
Thank
pointers.
you. We love card pointers. But honestly, the auto adding Amex offers is the best. I love how once they're all added, you can go through and just kind of look at them all in a list. Like that's very, very helpful for me. Although, let's be honest, most of the time I'm just triggering offers on accident, not because I actually go do the work to look for them. I just auto add them and I'm like, surprise, I got money back.
I find it helpful to track your credits. And then I did the opposite where I accidentally used the wrong Amex card thinking I had a $50 Hilton credit on my gold card. It's on the platinum card. And before court one day, I went and got a couple coffees at the Hilton right by the courthouse. And then afterwards I was like, oh, if only I'd opened card pointers, I would have known better.
We love them for this
So
reason.
use it. If you have card pointers, like tons of us have links to help you out. Like,
amen.
Use it, please.
Amen. Don't forget about it. Don't just download it and use it for 5 minutes and then forget it exists. You are right about the tracking credits. It's how in fact, this month, I was convinced that I had not yet used my Uber Eats credit. And I was like, why is this not showing up in the app? And then I was able to go back and see that I had in fact checked it off for this month in my Card Pointers app, which means I did at some point use it and I just forgot. So it's helpful.
Awesome. DM me for an Uber Eats rant if you need it, guys.
Okay.
That's taking them down.
They're not my favorite, but I do use them just for the one credit every single month. Jenna, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your precious time in this incredible trip. Before we let you go, tell everybody where they can find you online.
Yeah, of course. So we are, and I say we because I drag my husband into being the on-camera talent at Travelers in Law. So TRAVELERSINLAW.
Amazing.
And we're only on the Instagram because I'm a millennial and don't use TikTok.
Yeah.
So just check out our Instagram.
We tried to start a TikTok. I do nothing on it. It's pretty bad. Sometimes I just drop one of our Instagram reels over there. So yeah, it's too much. It's too much. And also, guys, their name is super cute because they're lawyers. So if you didn't listen to the previous episode and you didn't somehow get the vibe from this entire conversation, Jenna is a lawyer and is oh so impressive. And the name Travelers in Law is my favorite name on all of Instagram, basically. So.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
Well,
thank you.
I am telling the truth because that's what we do in this podcast. So, all right. Well, we will let you go, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's so great to hang out with you guys again.
We love it. See you next time. If you enjoyed this show today, please consider writing us a review or clicking 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please subscribe and follow along so that you never miss an episode.
You can follow the podcast on Instagram or YouTube at Wonderland on Points Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Family Travel for the Win with the number 4.
And you can find me on Instagram at Points to Wonderland.
If you're thinking about getting a new Travel Rewards credit card, consider using the links in our show notes. Using our links helps to support us and keep our podcast going so we can provide you with all the latest tips and tricks when it comes to traveling on points.
And if you aren't sure which card is right for you, shoot us an email at wonderlandonpoints@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you here next time.